It saddens me that this is a cinema reality. When someone's talking and you want them to be quiet, staring at them doesn't work. If you glare at them, it doesn't work. Try the polite method. Excuse me, sir, would you mind? Awfully. Thank you. Doesn't work. And once you've started with that nice guy routine, escalating it then doesn't work. The only one that works 99% of the time is, you shut your mouth and you do it now. Then don't hear a squeak out of them. Cinemas complain about dwindling box office revenues, and the industry generally laments the death of cinema in the next 10 years as these boxes are going to beam films directly into your living room on the day of release. But I don't shed a tear because they bought this on themselves. Cinemas are the public viewing of a film, but while the general public has gained in disposable income in recent decades, they've disposed of their manners. You know, I've never been to the opera or ballet, but I don't think those guys have that problem. I think the money allows you to avoid the riffraff and the tomfoolery. It's a shame because I'm just a Philistine that loves film. You see, cinemas are an in-between experience. It's not as loud as a team sport event, although the action's more spectacular, but at the same time, it's not an open-air play either. It's more like watching sprints or tennis or Olympic weightlifting. Yeah, when the action's begun, shout, cheer, ooh and ah. The Dolby Surround's going to drown out the noise and the audience participation's only going to add to the experience. But there are times like at the start of the 100 or before the big lift or the serve that people need to zip it. And in these venues, they employ people to make sure that lips are zipped. The expression, and a hush went over the crowd, exists for a reason, even though it does feel like a relic of the last century. Even the most bombastic action films, if done well, are going to have some quiet, tender moments. And I've paid my money to come here and listen to the words of a scriptwriter that's paid a pretty penny to write words that are then delivered by an actor who's paid an even prettier penny to act them because they're professionals. If I've paid money and have to listen to some bumberclark, they've made themselves the de facto entertainment. And believe me, I'm not enjoying the show. On top of that, there's the action film paradox. People are quiet when they're marvelled by imagery, but talk when they really need to lock it up. You go into a drama and you feel the tone. It's a funeral vibe. You go into a comedy and the vibe's more wedding speeches. But in both those cases, you still muzzle it. But people don't quite know how to act in an action film. They don't know whether correct etiquette is yobbish football fan or not. The blood's up and the testosterone's pumping. Or, if you're a teenage girl, the equivalent hormones of sass and bolshy, and I guess it's just bound to spill out, isn't it? No! It's not bound to spill out. It's not bound to do anything. If dogs can learn not to bark, we can learn not to yap. The number of people that apparently suffer from loose lips has increased exponentially over the last decade. It's an epidemic. Whilst I feel no love for these ship sinkers, I don't blame them. You see, when I go to the cinema, I don't have a relationship with the other members of the audience, thankfully. I don't know them, and I don't want to know them. I do have a contractual relationship with the cinema. I pay them money. They provide me with a suitable environment to watch the film. And they have us as a captive audience. Cinemas have got a total monopoly on new releases. Imagine if the only place you could go to get a drink was a pub. No supermarkets, no off-licenses, no corner shops. The country was dry. The only oasis was a pub. No fountains, it was pub or puddle. However, there was a high chance of getting glassed every time you wanted to parch your thirst. Ving Rhames already told us.
People are pigs.
That's why venues use plastic glasses. So here are 6 ideas that cinemas could employ to restore viewing experience. 1. Patrols. And I'm not talking polo shirts and caps. I'm talking magnum boots, stab vests, utility belts, visors and asps, on to the teeth. Rumours need to spread about a couple of gobby teenagers getting a WWF-style workover by the Flex Force. No, calm down. I don't need real blood. Hollywood could just mock up a quick 30-second ad in the found footage genre highlighting the incident. They show this before every screening. It fades to black with, "Do you wanna be next? Don't talk." Too much, I hear you crying? Alright, I'm a reasonable man. How about they just drag people out kicking and screaming if they're caught talking in the film? Still too much? Okay. How about this? 2. Button in cinema. Press this in case of yakking. It notifies an attendant in the foyer who, as if by magic, will appear. You then don't miss the film because you've had to go all predator and hunt some staff member down, which is effectively penalising you for somebody else being a chatty-hatty or a gobby-gabby. In fact, I'd be quite happy to bring my own deck chair and a stick and man that button for free. Just sitting there pointing people out. Up the top, row C, seats 14 and 15. Go get them. 3. Cinemas need to think about the future and draw from the greatest concepts in science fiction. The More for More pod. An enclosed space. Soundproof. Couples can have a shared pod. First daters get a hatch they can put their hand through. They can have vibration dampening to stop you feeling the effects of the contemptible backseat kickers. Kick me once, accident. Kick me twice, shame on you. Kick me 3 times, Flix Patrol Smackdown. 4. BYOE. Boy. Fit seats with earphone jacks in the cinema. Channel the sound up to your earlobes. Then you can choose the volume and the style. The simple standard jack hasn't changed since the early 80s. Even Star-Lord would be able to enjoy a film. But when you get a better audio experience a mile high up in the sky, it's a pretty grounded request to expect the same from a cinema seat, no? 5. Look to the future and the past. Bluetooth. If you can boogie on down. In a silent disco, surely they can hook up some kind of communal frequency to show flicks. Even drive-in cinemas in the 50s did it, using car radio. And this simple solution solves the other problem. Noisy food. Without this, it's only really suitable to serve silent delights like jelly and tapioca. With headphones, people could chew on broken glass and it would make a difference. And then they could get those last dregs of sugared slush water. And that sounded like they're rehearsing for that scene in Pulp Fiction. Now, I don't understand this guessing game that I'm having to play with the start times. This method might have worked when we were telling time with a sundial, but get with the times. And 6. Clearly show exactly when the film starts. Show it online when you book it, show it in the cinema queue when you're waiting for your ticket, show it in the screen so you know whether you've got time to take a tinkle or load up on more nachos. People plan poorly, yes, but not telling people how long the trailers are ahead of time is exacerbating that poor planning. We don't need another challenge. In cinemas, how about reminding people to please be considerate if they do arrive late? Because it happens. Explain to them the etiquette. Wait for an establishing shot. Or, if you must, duck down like there's a sniper in the projector room. People used to stand at the corner and wait until it seemed like a good time to take the first available seat. Now they just breeze in, start looking around for a seat, pointing, get people to move up, talking. I say Flex Patrol, but what do I know? And finally, cinemas, please, don't allow parents to use cinemas like some kind of big screen babysitter. You do know what PG-13 means, right? Parents strongly cautioned. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13. So when they rock up with their preschoolers, let's be honest, they're putting their desire to watch the film over the development of the kid. That's their choice, but if the little one's causing a ruckus because his mental age doesn't allow him to understand or enjoy the film, and he just thinks he's in some kind of dark, noisy nursery and is searching for the sandpit and crayons, I think you could see that coming. And whilst the Flix Patrol would not be my first go-to, perhaps as they purchase the ticket, a shame bell could be rung? Now here's my call to action. If your film has ever been even slightly ruined by these issues, please take the time to go to the manager and get your money back. The only thing these businesses respond to is money. And when they fail on their side of the transaction, there needs to be consequences. Cinemas rely on people feeling awkward about complaining so they don't have to change it. But if a line of people demanded a refund every time a lack of supervision ruined a film, you'd see it change in a heartbeat. How do I know? Because that's why video piracy gets an unskippable ad on DVDs. You know, the ones that portray them as B-list versions of Trainspotting, even though it's utterly moronic. Anyone who buys the film isn't pirating it. They bought it. Anyone who pirates the film doesn't have that bit on it. They cut it out. So you're effectively incentivizing the person to buy the pirated version because it doesn't have the rubbish at the start, while you're wasting the time of the person who buys the authorized version. Moronic. But the image in their head of all the money they're losing makes them want to do something. Anything. It's a strong motivator. I'll leave you with the immortal words of Muhammad Ali, who should also be in an advert in every cinema. Muhammad, what do you think of the guy sitting behind you?
I don't like him. He talks too much.
Share this video with your fellow film friends. I'll assume any dislikes are from chin waggers and lollygaggers, so hit the thumbs up, and if you like my vibe, please subscribe.